Hi everyone. Figured today I would try an instructional video on crocheting. I've had a lot of people ask me, or at least mention that they know how to knit, but they don't know how to crochet and they want to learn. Or vice versa, they know how to crochet, but they don't know how to knit and they want to learn. So today we'll be working by starting off on a chain stitch. With the cat, apparently. I was going to do this solo, but my cat decided, no, you're not going solo. You're not doing anything without me. Cats, you know. So, to start off, we're starting with the chain stitch because everything you do in crocheting builds off of the chain. And the chain is also used to connect two rows. So, to do the chain stitch, first of all, I am starting off with a light colored 4-ply worsted yarn. This is the easiest to work with. There's a lot of different yarns out there. Some of them are really fluffy. And if you know what you're doing, you could probably crochet with them, but though it's easier knitting. I'm using a light color because it makes it easier to see our stitches. Darker colors are very hard to see where your stitch is or where in the row that you're working on. So we're going to pull from the center. And you pull from the center because if you pull from the outside, yeah, the skein is a mess. I wonder why. If you pull from the outside, it's going to be wrapping around from the outside, which means this is going to be rolling around everywhere, getting dirty, and making a royal mess. You pull from the center, it unravels from the inside, the skein stays put. At first, it will be a bit of a tug to pull some of the yarn out, so it might roll around a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to start by making a slip knot. And an easy way I've found to do this is wrap the yarn around 2 fingers, and then just pull it through that loop. Oh, I tugged on the wrong end. There we go. Oh, nope, sorry, failed. Try that again. Around 2 fingers. You pull that loop through. You might want to hold on to this tail right there to make sure it's not going anywhere. You don't want to pull that through the loop. And then you just kind of pull it tight. Slip knot right there. So what should happen is when you put it on your hook, and this hook is a size J. It's a very large one, again, because starting off with a large hook is going to be easier than starting off with a small hook. Once you get used to it, then you can try a small hook. But what you do is you can pull on the feed and just kind of tighten up. Oh, did I really do that? Yeah. Okay, so sorry, not the feet, pulling the tail. So it should be somewhat snug. You don't want it tight because this hook here at the end, this has got to come through this little hole, carrying some yarn. So what we're going to do, I like to wrap my yarn this way. So you have a little bit of tension, so the stitches are not too loose, but you don't have too much tension, so they're not too tight. This is what I like to do. You do you, wrap it all the way around your hand, 1 finger, whatever's comfortable for you. This is what works for me. So we're going to hold on to the tail just to keep it out of the way. We're going to take the hook, let's bring this a little bit closer in, and we're going to hook the feed and pull it right through that hole. That is 1 chain stitch. Super simple, right? So we're going to do a few more. 2, 3, 4, and I'm going super slow for you. 5, hook it, pull it through. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Grab a little bit closer. Continue, hook it, pull it through. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, hook and pull it through. 18, 19, 20. This is what we're going to be working off of. On one side, let's bring it a little closer, it looks like a braid. On the other side, it's kind of a messy braid with a bump in the middle of it. That's what it looks like, and that's okay. To work off of the chain, for this specifically, we'll do rows of 20 stitches. So when you go back onto the next row, you want to do an extra 1 or 2 stitches at the end so you can double back onto the row and work off that row. 1 stitch for a single crochet, which we'll do next, 2 for a double, just because the size of the stitch. I think 2 also for a triple. We're not even going to bother with that right now. So I've done 20 chains. We're going to do a single crochet next. So I'm going to do one more, 21. Now we're going to use this stitch as some room to go back over. So we're going to go back onto the 20th stitch on the top loop, right here on the top. So we have the loop here. That's the feed. That's the stitch from the row. And for a single crochet, we're going to hook the feed. Oops, there we go. Pull it through the row. So we still have these 2 loops. We're going to hook the feed again and pull it through both of those. There's only 1 left. That is a single crochet. So back through the top of the next stitch, bring the yarn through that stitch, and then hook it and bring it through both loops. And again, we get that top stitch and hook the yarn, bring it through that top stitch. So we have 2 loops, and bring the yarn through both loops. We're going to go all the way across like this. This is 3, I think. Oops. Okay. Yeah, that's 3 stitches. Let's just adjust this camera angle a little bit. There. Now, continuing on through the top stitch, hook the yarn, bring it through so you have the 2 loops, and then bring the yarn through both of those loops. What you're doing in crocheting is creating a series of slip knots. So again, through the top loop of the row of chain stitches you just did, bring the yarn through that loop, and then yarn through both of those loops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and that's what happens when it gets too tight. You can't bring the yarn through. And that's what I've done here. I made 1 stitch that is too snug. This part right here, a little too snug, so I'm having some difficulty trying to bring the yarn through easily. Now if you make the loops too big, which I'll do on this next stitch just as a demonstration, like we go way big like this, and then we hook it and we bring it through way big again, and bring the yarn through that. That stitch right there, that right there, that's 2 loops. We don't want that. Likewise, and I'm just going to go back. Likewise, if we make it really tight like that, and we hook the yarn and bring it through, and we make that really tight, so that's a little difficult. And then we hook the yarn, we can't bring it through easily. You don't want to do that. That's why you got to have a little bit of give, a little bit of slack so you can pull it through easily with the hook. That's what that hook is for first of all, going into the loop with the dull end, and then you literally just hook the yarn, pull it through, like that. Use that hook to your advantage. Now, I am doing this right-handed because I am right-handed. It is more difficult to do it left-handed. So if you are left-handed, cut yourself some slack. It is not easy being left-handed just for writing as it is. But when it comes to handcrafts, it is more difficult. So if it's easier for you, I got to think about that actually, how I'm going to make it look left-handed. Maybe do a mirror image on this video for instruction. I don't know. So I'm just going to continue down this row so we can show you what to do at the end of the row and going into the next row because this is already 10 minutes long. And I'm unfortunately going to have to go faster than maybe you might like. I hope you were paying attention just a moment ago. Also to note about stitches that are too loose or too tight, that also counts for the chain. If the chain is too tight, you can't get the hook through the loop very well. It doesn't work, it's too tight. Likewise, if it's too loose, you got way too much give from the chain and it just doesn't look good and is equally actually hard to work with because you don't know on the next row up what loop are we going through. And there's this big hole right there. So yeah, that's why you want to have some give, but not too much. Yeah, I mentioned Cat. You haven't seen Cat. Here's Cat. Say hi, baby. Sorry, I just wanted to show him off. So, now I'm on the last stitch. So we're going to go through, hook it, bring it through. That is the last stitch. To go to the next row for a single crochet row, or at least starting from the single crochet depending on the pattern you're going from, we're going to do one chain stitch. We have one loop on here. We're going to hook the yarn and just bring it through that loop. That's one chain stitch. And you turn the project over. And unless the pattern you're working from says otherwise, you actually want to go through both of these top loops right here. Look, see how it looks like a braid? You're going to be going through both of these top loops, not just the top, not just the bottom, both. Which is, see if I can turn it over here. It's hard to see, it's kind of bright in here. But that's what I've done here, is you go through both of the top loops. You hook it and bring it through. Again, you got the two loops on your hook. And you bring it, you hook the yarn again, and bring it through both of those loops. And you go into the next stitch. Again, both top loops on the hook. Not just the top, not just the bottom, but both. It's more stable that way. Fewer gaps. There will be fewer gaps. There are some patterns that say do the top loop only or the bottom loop only. That's typically like a popcorn stitch, which we're not even going to bother with here because it's even more complex. We're just doing the super simple stuff. So through both loops, hook the yarn, bring it through, hook the yarn, bring it through both. All the way across the row. I'll go a little bit slower than I normally would. So you can maybe, sort of, keep up. Sorry. I am trying to do better. My last two videos were better than half an hour long. And I don't want this video to go that long. So I'm going to go at my speed now. And your project may curl on you initially. That's what this one's doing. It's trying to curl on me. You can smooth it out with your fingers to work with it. And when the project gets long enough, that curl just won't be there. And on the next row, I think I'll show you the double crochet, because there is one step difference, and once you notice the pattern of what we're doing here for each stitch, you can figure out from there like a half double, a triple, what have you. I will also show you a slip stitch, which is used in patterns as well. It's really actually super simple. It's like doing a single crochet, but actually I'll just show you here. For slip stitch, you go in underneath the loop, both of them, hook the yarn and bring it through this one. So you have the top two here, but you don't hook the yarn. You bring it straight through that other loop. That is a slip stitch. So again, you bring the yarn through the bottom row, and then again through the loop that was already there. We're going to go back and finish this in single crochet. Kitty got tired of me crocheting over him and moving around. He doesn't like it when I move around. So I'm coming to the end of the row here. This last stitch, see, this is the extra stitch we did at the end. The chain stitch. That's the name for it. Chain stitch. This is the chain stitch we did at the end to leave room, I think. Yes, it is. It's also helpful if you count your stitches as you're going so you know where you are. I have this very bad habit of not doing that. So now I'm not quite sure if that's the last stitch or if that's the chain stitch from the previous row. Oh, no. This part right here is the chain from, well, I think, just in case, I'm going to go right here. Yeah. What are you doing? Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, if you're going to start the next row on a double crochet, because double crochet is taller than single crochet, you want to do 2 chain stitches, not just 1 but 2. And when you flip it back over, it's similar to doing a single crochet, but before you stick the hook in here, you wrap the yarn around the hook. Oh yeah, now you're back? And then you stick it through the bottom row. Hook the yarn and bring it through. So now you have 3 loops. Count them up, 1, 2, 3. And you'll hook the yarn and bring it through the first 2 only. So you have 2 left. And then you go through both. That's a double crochet. So remember, you wrap the yarn around, bring the yarn through the bottom row, so you have 3 loops, not 2. Then you bring the yarn through the first 2 loops, and then the second 2 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. He's begging. 4, 5. All the way across the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just going to go a little bit faster because this video is getting to be almost 20 minutes long, and I said I would do better at making these videos not so long. Oh my god, I'm so long-winded, right? Well, I'm actually probably just going to finish this here at the end of this row. And I hope you guys will join me on my next video. I've not yet decided what I'm going to do there. But again, I'm going to try and do a new video once a week, each one on a different topic until I find one that you guys enjoy. that you would like to watch regularly. Because for now, this is just an experiment. So hit like, hit subscribe, tell your friends, whatever. And I will see you guys next week with a new topic.